You've got to understand something about venture investing. FTX was nothing but a startup, okay?
Right.
Basically 18 months old, that's it. At that time, the regulator was very, very negative.
Yes.
And then countries like Canada, Switzerland, United Arab Emirates, France,
right.
England, Australia,
Yep.
they opened up.
Yep.
And if you're an investor like me, I invest internationally, I started to allocate to it.
Right.
Obviously, at a time in 2021 when FTX was out financing, doing rounds at a $23 billion valuation, that was the hottest deal on the street. If you look at the people that invest in that, it's the who's who of venture capital.
Dude, okay.
So at the end of the day, when you invest in any startup, and this includes FTX and plenty of others, 8 out of 10 times you lose your money. Since 1954, when they started compiling these stats. Now, sometimes it's alleged fraud, sometimes bad execution, sometimes bad market, sometimes bad product. But for whatever reason, 8 out of 10 times you lose money. Right. So the people that invested in FTX, people are asking me, well, isn't this going to change investing forever? No. Nothing's going to change.
Sure. Yeah,
because
obviously,
we're gunning for that 2 times. We make 1,000x on our money.
Right.
The next morning, after I lost that 18 million, yes, I was pissed. Okay, but it didn't change anything about what I do as an investor. I get right up and I go at it again because if every time I had a loser investment, I had to go to Congress, I'd need an apartment there.
Right.
I mean, we lose a lot of deals, but every once in a while I get a monster hit and it pays for all the mistakes. FTX is in the past for me. Too bad. I feel sick about it. We all look like idiots.
Right.
But we got to move on. We have to fund the next venture. We have to fund the next entrepreneur.
But how did he...
So the way...
Because I've gotten the call.
I'm in 2 places on this.
Yeah.
I was a paid spokesperson, yes.
Yes.
But I was also an investor. I took millions of dollars and invested them in FTX International and U.S.
Right.
So I'm getting squeezed on both sides on this point. At the end of the day, the way I look at it is, okay, I have an agent. He gets contacted and says, look, do you want to be a paid spokesperson for this? I said, I'm interested in crypto. What do we know about this company?
Yeah.
We know that it's got the biggest investor list I've ever seen. The way this works is you go back and say, okay, 1.8 billion raised. Who's in the raise? Who did the due diligence? Plenty of them did.
And it's the heavy hitters.
Huge hitters. But we all know each other. We're in the private equity business. And I said, okay, somebody dillied this thing, And the parents were compliance lawyers out of Stanford. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's a very unfortunate outcome. And everybody looks...
Check this out.
I've looked at the valuation and I say, are you guys out of your friggin' minds? What stops somebody who actually knows how to make shirts and deliver them, do this and make a lot of money and crush you like the cockroach that you are? This is a very bad idea. It howls at the moon, and you should take it out behind the barn and shoot it. Look, I get the passion piece, but you know what I'd be crying about? The fact you're not making a profit. If you were in one of my business school classes, I would spray you down with water, and every time you say I don't know, I'd hit you with an electric cattle prod. Okay, did Lehman Brothers change anything? No. Enron? No. Bear Stearns? No. Long-term capital? No. There's always going to be the bad actors.
Sure.
This is capitalism, and every once in a while, there's a bad actor. You just went through a whole, litany of them.
Right.
And the system self-corrects. If you do bad things, shit happens to you. Bad shit. And I think that's okay. That's our system. The whole idea is you can make money without being a fraudster. This is a great country. You can be an entrepreneur. You can start a company with a great product and become a multimillionaire. That's the path that people take 99% of the time. And we should celebrate that.
Okay.
This comes along, alleged fraud like this, it's going to go through the system. Hopefully, we're going to get a huge recovery for everybody that lost their money. Already, the rumors are we're at 6 out of 8 billion. They found that, 6.1 billion. Who knows what else will be coming? I want to help everybody on this situation, but I've moved on, and so's everybody else. During the period when everybody was trying to get allocation to FTX, particularly FTX US, hottest deal on the street in 2021, I got countless calls from people saying, let me in on your allocation, you owe me, we've done business together. I said, guys, it's a startup. It's a big one. It's a $23 billion startup, but it's a startup. If I'm going to take this ride, I'll do it with my own dough. I'm not going to put anybody else's money into it. Okay. Nobody lost money on that deal in terms of investing on it except me. Okay. So I don't have the problem where I owe somebody, an apology for investing beside me. I owe everybody, and all of us involved owe an apology for not knowing it was an alleged fraud. But, this happens from time to time. But in my mind,
Oh, wait,
I can go to sleep every night knowing that it was my money, I lost it, I ate it, shame on me, but it doesn't change what I do in the morning. I'm a very fortunate guy. I can take huge hits and I move on and I keep going. That is the essence of entrepreneurship.
Totally.
You're going to get kicked to the ground once in a while. And this was a big kick in the where it hurts.
Right.
As somebody said to me, the one I remember the most, you know, The Economist on CNBC said to me, we came out of the green room after I'd had one of those countless, presentations on there about it.
Right.
And he said, Kevin, $18 million, that's a lot of guitars. And he's right.
Yeah,
all of my money on the comp, just so you understand this, by the contract was in an FTX account. So 18 comes in, as you correct, about half of it pays taxes and agents and the unions and all that stuff. Sure. The rest goes into the account. And on Saturday morning, November 10th, it was scraped out along with all the trading records. Everybody there, including me, does not know where that money is, or do they have the trading records? Do I want to hire a forensic accountant? Absolutely. I've disclosed I had 32 positions. It wasn't cash, it was crypto and all kinds of coins and tokens. And so they're all gone, and I'd like to find out where they are. So would another million people. My whole deal is I've been totally transparent with it. The reason I've gone on and talked about it openly is I think we can all learn a lesson from this, and I'm teaching this case at Harvard, actually. I think there's a lot to learn from it because it's a great example of when you do portfolio work, when you put big money to work, you've got to know you're never safe. You just don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
And this case is crazy. We haven't even seen the end of this yet. We don't know what's going to happen. The records are supposedly backed up on the Amazon servers, and no one's seen them yet. I don't know where that money went. I'd like to find out. And that's the same question every institution has. I'm one of the only institutions walking around talking about it, but so what? It's a horrible outcome. It's a bad investment. I've made bad ones in the past. I'm going to make bad ones in the future, but I'm pretty good at good ones as well.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Guess what? I'm a capitalist. I'm an investor. That's what I do. I'm ashamed of it. I love to do what I do. I help all kinds of entrepreneurs, and I'm proud of that. We don't make money all the time is the point I'm trying to make. When you invest, you take risks. And that's why you need diversity. You need a lot of stocks. ETF's a good idea. It has a lot of stocks, whatever. At the end of the day, let me tell you what's happened over the last 10 years. The ability to tell a company's story, to get people to understand what their mission is and the benefit of their product is highly valuable. Very. Because there's a million stories out there, and the biggest problem every company has, including giant S&P companies, is how do they get customer acquisition? How do they acquire customers? 8 out of 10 companies fail in America after 36 months because they're never able to get their customer acquisition costs below the lifetime value. Right. That's where I change the equation. If I invest in your company, I tell your story. That's what my job is to do. Yes, I take risk. I'm fortunate to have money to invest, but I get behind it and tell the story. And that's what we do on Shark Tank. Why are Shark Tank companies so successful? Why do so many more of them make money than the traditional 8 out of 10? Because we tell their story to 100 million people every year. That's the magic sauce. So I think I'm a great investor by being able to be a great storyteller, too. People need to know what the product does, what the merits of it are. That's why they try it. That's why it's important to tell these stories.